Hi again. John Wesley Bready, this Freedom Whence, England before and after Wesley. This is page 316. He's just discussed Francis Asbury's enormous influence on American religious life indeed, life in general, because America was changed, not just the church. And now he discusses the impact of Methodism as a whole on the Western world. The most obvious legacy of the Evangelical Revival to the United States is the United Methodist Church. Apart from its many adherents, that church today has nearly 8 million active members. Its places of worship number 48,000, and its ordained ministers and missionaries 26,200. This is 1940, by the way. In its Sunday schools, staffed by 560,000 voluntary officers and teachers, it regularly imparts Bible, moral, and religious instruction to nearly 6 million children. Its Epworth leagues have 820,000 young people in various stages of training for Christian endeavor. Its foreign missionary efforts, including medical and educational, reach out to every continent. While within the United States, its influence is enormous. In the sphere of higher education, it controls famous universities, colleges, and professional schools and vocational institutes, with a faculty, in 1941, totaling over 6,000 and a student body of 110,000. The properties committed to this higher educational work are valued at over $150 million, and its endowments exceed $160 million. That churches, hospitals, old age homes, orphanages, and correlated institutions, moreover, are hardly less imposing, representing, as they do, an estate of $110 million and caring annually for some 350,000 persons. The entire properties of the Methodist Church, including its foreign field equipment, are valued at over $1,500,000,000. While in 1940, notwithstanding the pinch of prolonged depression, nearly $80 million was bestowed by loyal supporters upon this great voluntary Christian communion. Such are certain of the tangible symbols of a spiritual and therefore largely intangible movement. The United Methodist Church, however, is one of 14 Methodist bodies in the United States. It's quite distinct from the strong African Methodist Episcopal churches, organized and run by the American Negroes. All these churches are direct children of the Evangelical Revival. Yet Methodism, strong as it is, represents but a part of the influence of that epochal awakening upon the United States. The older Protestant churches, especially the Baptist, Presbyterian, Congregational, Lutheran, and Quaker, derived from it, that is the Evangelical Revival, a new vision and new infusion of Christian vitality. They became, in fact, missionary and truly evangelical churches. Nor did this influence stop there. The revivals of Finney and of Moody were later expressions of the same great movement, and all the communions now cooperating in the vigorous Federal Council of the Churches of Christ in America owe a priceless debt to the mighty baptism of fire. Indeed, even the Roman Catholic Church, little as it may recognize the fact, has not been untouched by this purging, democratizing influence. Lord Bryce's conclusion in his book Modern Democracies is deeply significant. Quote, "It is in English-speaking countries only that the Roman Church has frankly embraced democratic principles, declaring that she has no complaint against popular government." End of quote. Enough, however, has already been said to suggest the debt of popular government in Anglo-Saxon commonwealths to the character-building influence of voluntary associations engendered by the evangelical rebirth of vital Christianity. In the United States, as in Britain, popular charitable, benevolent, and social service organizations are very extensive and have reached a creditable level of attainment. While being of and for the people, they are loved by the people. Their close historical relationship to evangelical Christianity, although unmistakable, is a subject beyond the compass of this study. In one sphere of social attainment, however, America easily leads Britain and all the rest of the world. Her great and numerous colleges for the higher education of women are without a peer. Yet the heralds in that extensive emancipation movement, such as Mount Holyoke, Oberlin, and Elmira, Vassar, Wesley, and Smith, together with Bryn, Mawr, and Goucher, I think it's Goucher if it's French, were rooted and grounded in the soil of Protestant evangelical faith. So do we, coming from cult background, as many of us do, realize that the Evangelical Revival is responsible for the transformation of the Western world? Hence Brady's title, This Freedom, Whence? In 1940, on the eve of World War II, it was easy to think that all of these freedoms were at risk. And here we are in 2022, and these freedoms are indeed at risk from anti-Christian sources, not just cults and Christian deviations this time. Next time, the impacts on the British Empire. I'll put in a link to one of the great stumbling blocks of restoration-type movements, including, of course, all the cults. Did Christ indeed predict a general apostasy after the death of the apostles? We did 4 videos on this subject, just covering the 2 parables, the parable of the sower and the parable of the wheat and the weeds, Matthew 13. So I'll put a link on your screen to the first of those 4 videos, and also to the playlist of which they are a part, which is Why JW Org Will Fall and the Church Will Stand. See you soon.